Let's just take a moment to exhale as they wind things down here at Empower Field at Mile High. A 41-32 win, not like anything we've seen in recent Broncos history. In a lot of ways, it looks like the kind of wins we've seen this season in which the Broncos have had to overcome something going wrong. In this case, it was the defense, normally reliable, leaking yards. 552 yards put up by the Cleveland Browns. Jeudy setting a record for most receiving yards accumulated against the Broncos. But with 2 defensive touchdowns, a strike, a rope, a dart from Bo Nix to Marvin Mims Jr. in the third quarter that could not have been more perfectly executed, and just enough from Jaleel McLaughlin and Cortland Sutton on offense, and just enough pass rush on defense to help set up some takeaways. The Broncos got the dub. Another resourceful win. There are some things to be concerned about, though. You start with the defense. This is 3 times since the start of November that you can look at this defense and say there's some things going wrong that you should be concerned about. Of course, against Baltimore, they ran a lot of zone coverage in that game, trying to account for the Ravens' skill position weapons, and they got blasted. Last week against Las Vegas, without Zach Allen, the team struggled to defend the run. That showed issues depth-wise, because without Allen, the Raiders got a lot of yardage up the gut on the Broncos. Yardage that the Browns did not find tonight working against a defensive front that had Allen back. And then this game, you saw some zone coverage. You also saw a secondary that was without Riley Moss for the whole game, without Brandon Jones for about half the game, and that had an impact as well. Zone coverage, Cleveland made mincemeat of that when it saw it. Jeudy wide open at times under coverage. So there are some things that are trouble spots for a defense that has been pretty reliable and capable of big things so far this year, but now heading into this bye has some things to study and fix and work on as it comes in for that 4-game stretch. It's funny to talk about a game where Bo Nix had a 93-yard touchdown pass to Marvin Mims Jr., and that's not the big story, but there was just so much else going on. So much else going on in the secondary, so much else going on in this nutty cuckoo game. That being said, you love that Nix throw to Mims. You love him hitting Mims in stride. You also love the confidence that is growing in Marvin Mims Jr. now that he's finding a role. We're seeing confidence from Jaleel McLaughlin. This is 2 games where he's had some nice runs slashing through a defense. You could see his confidence building over the course of this game. Cortland Sutton, another 100-yard game. He continues to stay on a very nice pace. And I love the fact that Bo Nix went to Cortland right after he had a drop early in the game. You trust him. He's big for you. Keep him involved. Don't worry about an isolated drop. He's going to make plays for you. And he did. He rewarded that faith. So it's one of those games that sort of like when you watch Ted Lasso, and there was that moment in the 3rd season where Trent Crimm comes to the realization that all the little deposits and investments in the team and building a culture is what is going to allow total football to work. Well, all those little deposits over the last few years, the last couple of years in particular, that makes it possible for the Broncos to withstand a lot of punches, withstand some self-inflicted wounds, and get the job done tonight. It shows why this team is different. Winning the type of game it hasn't played in a long time, 41-32, to go to 8-5 and in complete control of its fate in regards to being in the AFC playoffs for the first time since the 2015 season. This, as always, is brought to you by our friends over at Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry. They have time for you, and I'll talk to you next time and throughout the week on Orange and Blue Today. Take care. Bye-bye.